everyone. This is going to be part 2 of the Paris street scene, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I hope you're going to enjoy it. Please let me know in the comments if you're enjoying it, or if you have any questions about what I'm doing. I am going to do a voiceover for it, so I'll try to explain everything. All right, apparently my video did not somehow begin until this point. As you can see, I'd done quite a bit more work on it and thought that I was capturing that. One thing I learned yesterday is apparently if I happen to tap the tripod with my foot, it will turn the camera off. So maybe that's what happened at some point. Sorry about my head being in the way. It's going to take me a little while to figure out how to film this in an efficient manner. And I'm just working on the abstract look that I want for these people dining under this canopy at this cafe. It's actually La Maison Cafe in Paris. So I'll be adding that title too. Notice that I'm using the palette that was in the actual photo, which was a blue and orange. Blue and orange are complementary colors, so that makes this it's gonna be a really nice combination for this. I am attempting to get, as soon as I started this part, I realized that it was all way too big. It's all out of proportion, and I will need to adjust that. So, and it sticks out a little bit too much there on the right. So that's all stuff that will need to be fixed. Right here is where I realize, whoops, it's going out too far and it changes the perspective, so I'll have to fix that. All right, the one really nice thing about pastels is they can be easily adjusted. Yes, you can run out of tooth, but at the same time, you can restore quite a bit of that tooth. First of all, if you're using a light hand to begin with and you don't start pressing hard until you get toward the end of the painting, but also it can be restored in a myriad of ways. Here in a minute, you're going to see me, I'm going to use this little brush, and I'm just brushing it out. That's a really dark color, and I don't want to have to press hard to cover it up. So I'm going to go look for my little magic eraser. It's not really an eraser, it's a cleaning product. And I've just torn it so that I have a clean edge. And it will take this back down almost to the paper, even though that's a really dark color. And I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use my kneaded eraser, and I will take that down and be able to readjust that perspective later on with the color that's on the building behind. So never fear, if you're using pastels, they are actually easy to correct. And you can see how quickly and easily that worked right there. I have heard people say, oh, pastels are hard to correct. No, I mean, you just saw me do it, and I do it all the time. So I have to say they are very easy to correct. I'm adding a layer of a mustardy sort of color over that pink. I want both colors there, and I don't have a pastel that is both colors there. There's light shining from under that canopy. That's going to be a difficult thing to kind of get. I'm using this brush instead of to erase now to smooth out some of that color back there. I don't want it to have a lot of texture. It will gather your eye. It will pull your eye in, and I want your eye really to spend a lot more time in the lit place. So and I do want to add some, just a little suggestion of the windows that are back there on that lower part of that building. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm happy with that, although I will add a little bit of highlight there. It's quite light under there. And I wanted to contrast with the yellow light. So I'm happy with that. There's a little bit of that shining through the cafe, so I'm adding that in as well. That'll help push back that corner of the cafe. The corner of the cafe there is further in the distance, so that'll help push it back to add some blue, some cool colors back in there. Notice that I tend to use the backing that I'm using is just foam board, and I tend to use that to test my colors. There are people in the photos standing up on those terraces, so I want to add a suggestion of that. And now I'm going to add suggestion of the windows that are on that building. I do not want them to stand out. I just want you to understand that that is a building back there, and that it has windows. I'm pretty happy with how they look in the picture, so I'm going to get as close as I can without losing the abstract nature of it. Some of the windows are lit, so here in a minute you'll see me add some light, but I'm going to get my trusty little eraser brush out here in a minute, and you'll see me readjust some of these things that I just did. So little eraser brush. What are some other ways that I use to erase? I use canned air sometimes. If there's a large area and I feel like it's really wrong, I'll use canned air. It does create a lot of dust. So if you're sensitive to that, canned air may or may not be a good option for you. I just went over the building color around those windows a little bit with the blue, and then I'm layering back over the orange, pinky orange there. That's the light from the from the cafe up onto that. And again, I'm using my trusty little brush this time to just knock off the edges, leave it a little bit more abstract. It's a little lighter out toward the edge of that building, so I'm adding some light on the terraces. I'm adding some light toward the edge of the building. Now I'm adding the overhangs of the windows, and frankly, I'm not getting them entirely correct perspective-wise, so that's something that's going to have to be adjusted. But getting them in is the most important thing. You know, having a what if attitude when you get into the studio or sit down with your art materials, that is a really important thing. You just need to be able to go, what if I do this? I'm not sure what to do, but what if I do this? Don't treat your paintings as so precious that you're afraid to do something wrong. Do something wrong and fix it. There I'm adding some of the light in the windows. There's a big light right there. I don't know if it's a street light or something. I kind of like the look of it. Grabs your eye and draws you back into that. Using my finger again, to this time I needed something a little more than the brush to kind of dull down those windows, knock off the edges of them. I'm not smoothing them. I am, what's the word I want to say? I'm knocking them back. I'm making them not so prominent. All right. I do want to show you that I have added to the palette little by little, but you'll see it's all still very, whoops, coordinated. That was my eraser, not a pastel. So it's all still the same family of colors, but there's lighter and darker and warmer and cooler. So I'm pretty happy with how it is right now. This is the part that really I wanted it to grab your attention. I think it's really close right now. And I'm really happy with the abstract look, but you can tell that there are people here that are dining. So I'm not going to do very much more with this. What I need to work on is this perspective isn't correct, and I'll be fixing that. I'll be adding that arch, because that arch is important to me, even though it's not the most important thing. It sets the perspective. And then I want to piddle around a little bit with these people just to solidify them a little bit, and add a little dimension to this tree, a little light, because there's quite a bit in the photo of this orange light coming over to this tree, and that's going to help bring your eye to this area. This tree needs to be dulled down. It's got to be there because I can't tell in the photo what this building is doing in this corner. I would just take the whole tree out, but I have to have something to cover that building with, because I don't know what's happening back there. So I will dull that tree down, take it into the darker shades, and that's okay. Bring some of the darker shades down this way so that all my darks will connect around from here, down here, and up here, and then boom, your eye is right there. So, and hopefully you'll get that feeling of the buildings are really tall. They're looming over you. It's an intimate space, but it feels massive. And yet there's this happy little thing going on here. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and please like, please subscribe. If you look in the description, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Zazzle, all those places.